We're back. We're back from Inglewood Podcast once again. I'm Hoopie. This is Charley Mac, your co-host, and it's exciting to be back in the studio to talk about something that is very relatable, and it might even be humorous, but we're gonna, throw it at you and see, what the response will be. But before I introduce the topic, I want to say thanks to the Coalesce Group, to Fruit Off the Vine, Clothing Apparel, for all of your help and assistance. Thank you for allowing us to tag your brand and to partner with you at this particular time. Thank you, viewing audience, for everything that you have done and all your support on this social media platform. I'm going to throw it to Charley Mac, and then we're going to go from there.
We back again, y'all, in the building, in full force. Before we get started, we don't own the rights to this music, you did. But we're going to just let it go ahead and get us in the mood and groove to it. You ready for it, Cam?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, get ready, guys. Prepare. Put the seatbelts on. We're about to get this car pushing like we do it.
Well said, bro. Well said. Again, man, good to be back in the studio with you, chopping it up on a very interesting topic, something that we can really flow with. And it's so essential to some of the things that, we encounter on a day-to-day basis. But, our topic today is common sense or book smarts. I think we can all relate to it personally as well as through experience.
Yes, sir.
We know that there is a difference. So, I'm going to throw it to you. Let you kind of, chop it up and then see what we can get out of it.
Okay, you want me to get started first? Okay, that's cool. When we say common sense or book smarts, some of us don't have them both. You may have people who just may have book sense.
Okay.
And you may have people who just have common sense. It would be fantastic to have them both. Some of us do, some of us don't. I know I have them both. I know you have them both. I know a lot of people who have them both.
Yeah.
But I've encountered people with book smarts.
Okay.
And with no common sense and no street smarts. Really. And it's I'm telling you, it's a challenge. It's a challenge because, if you ask me personally what I would prefer, if I had to choose, I would say I would rather have common sense.
Okay.
Because I think common sense will get you to the next level. You can have all the book smarts in the world. You can be the most articulate. You can be the most intelligent person that's walking this earth. But if you don't have any common sense, you're in bad shape.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of things that happens to us in our lives and out here in the real world. And if you don't have any common sense to be able to decipher between, what's real and what's not, and what's fiction and what's nonfiction,
yeah,
you're gonna have some problems.
I got you.
You're gonna have some problems.
I got you. That's a good assessment because when I think of the two entities, some would think that you tie them in together, or you have them both.
Right.
And you probably do. You just exercise, or one protrudes, and it's more of an emphasis there than it is on the other.
Right.
But I think I would rather have common sense to apply whatever knowledge or whatever ignorance I'm not saying ignorant as a bad thing, but right. I'm just saying if I don't know, I don't know.
Right.
But common sense to me it's just going to outweigh a lot of things. Why do you say that? Because I think common sense ties into wisdom.
Yes.
It's like how to use the information that you have.
No question.
It's how to navigate.
No question.
When you off the script.
No question.
Right? It's like it's no script.
Right.
And so those instincts, through having good common sense, will actually lead you to shore.
I'm telling you.
Right? So I agree with you from that aspect. I would rather have common sense. And sometimes it's not a negative, but I've met people extremely intelligent, extremely educated, meaning they have the degrees, they have the experience, to go along with it, and some of the most basic things they can't grasp.
Dumb as a bag of rocks. I'm telling you,
They can't figure it out.
Yeah, because they don't have the common
And
sense.
it's consistently.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean you don't get it?
Yeah.
You know, and I said to myself, is it because their approach is more academic than the basic general things? I mean, are they so wound up to where they can't see anything that would be considered as average, normal? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've talked to a few people that, you know, I discovered, like, man, this chick don't have no common sense.
Dumb.
You know.
Listen, man, I've talked my way through many jobs and have gotten jobs over that person who may have had a BA degree or a master's degree or whatever the case may be. You have to understand that you walk into a room with 3 executives, and because you've had so much knowledge on the streets, and you know you've come from the school of hard knocks life, to where you can pretty much navigate your way through almost anything. Because at the end of the day, unless you're a doctor, lawyer, accountant, something like that, you can pretty much learn on the job with common sense.
Yeah.
You can walk right into a job and pick it up like that, and the degree is out the window. You don't need a degree. You know, I've been interviewed by some pretty hardcore executives, and I remember when I went through, and people may not even know this, and they may be shocked to hear this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It's gonna really blow people away. I was this close to being LAPD.
Oh, I remember when you went through that process.
I went through the process, scored high on every exam. Right now, I don't know if I still hold the record, but down at Dodger Stadium where you have to go through the police academy and all that, I think out of the class that I was in, I scored out of a possible 400. I think I scored 398, top of the class. When I did my oral exam with me sitting right here and the 3 officers in front of me, scored 100 plus, which is like, it's just amazing. And I did all this with no degree. I didn't have any degree to open up and say, hey, I went to this college and I have my master's in this and I have my BA in that, you know. But if you got common sense and if you listen to the questions that they're asking you and you apply those answers with the knowledge that you know that you've learned just in life, that's what they want. They don't want a brainiac. They want someone that's gonna get the job done. No, really. Now we're not. I'm not on this job to talk about calculus. I'm on this job to talk about nouns and verbs and adjectives. Anyway, I wasn't never that good in English anyway. Right. We're here to get the job done. Right. And if you put me on the job, I'm gonna get the job done with common sense. I don't need book smarts. Right. You need common sense because at the end of the day, and I'm talking to the people that's listening. Half the people, or even probably 75% of the people that's listening and viewing who have degrees, I guarantee you most of them are not even using their degree with the job they have. That's true. You're not even using that degree in the specific that you got your degree in. You're probably working a whole different job. A lot of them do. You didn't need the degree to do the job you're doing. All you need is some common sense.
Well, but you need
that degree to get you in the door.
Yeah, you gotta have what's required.
It looks good on the resume, and like you said, there are certain jobs that you need a BA for this or you need that. I get it. But I'll take the common sense over it any day.
I mean, I would too. I think at this point of my life, I honor learning and education. I don't have to, equate that to how many degrees you have.
Right.
I think learning is for us all, and we learn every day through various ways and avenues. I think it has its place when it's required to meet the criteria, right? But 9 times out of 10, the person with keen common sense and understanding is going to be effective. in whatever it is they do.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a skill set.
Yes.
Having listening skills and communication skills, but most importantly, I think having an understanding.
Yeah.
Are you teachable? Are
Yeah.
you coachable?
Yeah.
I think that has a bearing on everything, because even when you got the 2 different degrees and you're going for a particular job,
Right.
they got to train you. They got to train you.
And if you don't have any common sense, you're not even going to be able to get that. They're going to be like, dude,
Yeah.
do you get it?
Right.
You know?
But, you know.
Well, I have my physics degree. Well, dude, you don't need it here.
Right.
You know?
So, yeah, in some areas, I think, you know, and I'm, by no means am I knocking someone with
Oh,
the
no,
degrees
not
and
at
the
all. Not at
education.
all. Not at all.
Because, you know.
Because you got some that got it both.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
degreed up and they got some common sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I think the question at hand is preference. Book smart or books common sense
Right.
versus being book smart.
Right. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's just preference.
Yeah.
Like I said, I believe common sense is key, because it has a lot to do with your skill set.
Yeah.
Listening.
Yeah.
Executing.
Yeah.
Understanding.
Yeah.
And the ability to figure it out.
I was going to say that.
If you can't
I was
go
getting
off the
ready to say that.
script and go off the grid,
I was getting ready to say that.
you might be stuck in the water, bro.
Let me tell you something. It's so funny because I was just saying to myself, like, because you got common sense, it may get you from getting your head tore off.
Life and death.
You may be the smartest dude in the world, the smartest female in the world, and you may get involved in something out here on the streets, and because you don't have no common sense, you end up being a victim. And that's when common sense comes in. A lot of people don't have it. I mean, I've dated women that's degreed up, and they can't even go do a paper route because they don't have the common sense or the what. I mean, they can't even find their way out of a. You know, you say, okay, listen, okay, perfect example. Perfect example. You got people who, I'm just going to give you an example. They come to your house, and they come over without even telling you that they're on their way. But they just show up, they knock on your door,
Okay.
and you're not there.
Okay.
So, you're not there. So a person with common sense would be like, man, they're not here. Well, let me give them a call, let me shoot them a text or whatever, see kind of where they are. That's kind of the common sense person. The one with the book smarts, not there. They go home. They just turn around and go home.
I got you.
And then you say, what happened? Well, I came over and you weren't there, so I just went home. Well, why didn't you call me? Oh, I don't know. I didn't even think about it. Come on, dude. Use your common sense that everybody has. And that's just a really
Could've
minute.
been in the shower.
Yeah, I mean,
Could've
that's
been in the shower.
right.
Car could have been in the shop not in the driveway.
Right, and that's kind of a minute equation of what I just gave. But in a nutshell, you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you have the common sense to be able to say, well, man, let me execute, like you were saying, well, damn, let me execute this. And if this didn't happen, well, maybe I can try this, or let me think. You know, that common sense gives you the ability to think under pressure and to say, wait a minute, let me think now.
Or go outside of what.
Go outside the norm.
Design.
You got to go outside the box.
Yeah, because, you know, a lot of people lost their lives from not having basic
common sense
decision making.
That's what I'm saying.
Going to a neighborhood that you're not supposed to be in, but at the same time, you may, because everybody has taken the wrong turn and ended up in a situation. Okay, but now that you're in that situation, how do you diffuse it? See, because sometimes it could be, you know, in a way to where you might just say something that turns somebody the wrong way. And it's like, what? Oh, he's not from here.
Yeah.
You know, like he's from New York or,
Yeah.
you know, he's from, you know, Boston or something, meaning I'm going to take advantage of this person.
Yeah.
But I think the way you respond can alter that. Common sense. Okay, I'm in a bad place. I don't know anybody. I'm actually lost, but I'm not going to act like I'm lost. I'm a pretty much, even if I got to go to the wrong door and knock on it.
And pretend like.
And pretend was, you know, on my sheet,
Right.
it says, you know, Linda Davis lives
Right,
here.
right.
You know, I apologize.
Right.
But if you in a situation where you show your vulnerability,
People gonna eat you up. They're gonna take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You know, when you show, you know, that's why, you know, the old saying, don't let them see you sweat. You know, when people see that, like, oh, I got one. Now I got a victim.
Right.
You know, then you become a victim when you don't have common sense. You become a victim. In a lot of cases, you become a victim.
Yeah.
And even there's times you may even become a victim on the job. You know, your supervisor may be like, this person is pretty smart, but they're dumb. You know, in their mind, it's like, they're pretty smart, you know, academically, and they have all the credentials, but they're not too bright in terms of their common sense. And sometimes supervisors and people that's in charge of you, they see that weakness and they take it for granted.
Yeah. I think too, when a person is not used to going off the script, they're not used to, like you put it at times, you know, to improvise, right?
Good word.
You have a tendency to hurt the team. You're like a liability.
Yeah.
And I really believe that education is important, but I also know and understand that there are some things you can't apply physics, calculus, statistics, Western civilization history to. Yeah. There's some things that you have to just say, oh, I got a flat tire. I need to get into this trunk and see if I have the tools to change it.
If you don't have no common sense, you're not going to be able to do that.
You know.
You're going to call AAA. And the ones with no common sense, they may not even call AAA. They may just get out there and
leave it.
Start walking, you know. And that's why you have to have some common sense so you can figure certain things out, because it's not going to always be scholastics. Scholastics ain't going to always get you through life. You know, sometimes you check that stuff at the door and you even forget it. You know, you may have gone through college and gotten, you know, all these degrees and you've been out of college for the last, 20 years. Next thing you know, you don't remember none of that stuff you learned in college. But if you have common sense, you're going to always stay ahead of the game.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to always stay ahead of the game.
True. What is your perspective and view on those that are extremely book smart? Meaning that's their strength. The knowledge that they've accumulated, the intelligence, because even when I was coaching high school basketball and collegiate, I would rather have a smart team more so than
a talented team.
Yeah. But if you got both, you win it.
But let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell yeah, you're right, and I'm gonna tell you
gotta have some talent.
I'm gonna tell you how that comes into play, and it's so amazing that you brought that up, because you made me think about when I was coaching at the Jordan camp. Yeah. And I had, and every year, I was there for maybe 12, 13 years, and maybe only a few years I had like just raw talent.
Okay.
And then, but the majority of the years I had a bunch of dump trucks. But because I had my common sense and I had some coaching experience, I was able to beat certain players and certain teams because I knew my common sense would kick in. Like, perfect example, I remember one year we was playing Brian McKnight's son, and he was killing us. He got MVP of the camp. Okay. He was killing. He could have played in the NBA.
Huh?
He was killing the camp.
Okay.
Killing the camp.
Okay.
So one year he was, taunting my players. He was shooting threes and coming down talking trash to my players. He had them in an uproar. I think that's the year I had Will Smith's son on my team too.
Okay.
Great kid. But anyway, so Brian McKnight, he was Brian McKnight Jr. He coming down, he talking crazy to my players, and he was killing them. And I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I said, I got something for him. I knew he wasn't ready for a double team. He's a kid. 14, 15. I already knew you got certain NBA players that can't handle a double team. Some can, some can't. Yeah. You sick a double team on him, you throw their whole strategy off.
True.
Cam, I'll sick my players on him. Shut him down. He was miserable. He was ready to curse us out and everything. So shut him down. But
he couldn't adjust.
But I knew with my skill that I knew how to coach, plus with my own common sense, I said, how can I get there? I said, I got it. So I sicked all the players on it. I said, when he get it in his hand, attack him.
So with that being said, he had the talent, obviously. His skill set was more physical. because he can shoot, he can
Yeah.
dribble, but mentally he didn't get over the hurdle of understanding that it's 2 against 1 and even 3 against 1
Right.
at times.
Right.
And I'm losing the ball.
Right.
Or I'm taking bad shots. Or I gotta pass it
There
because
you go.
I don't know how
That's
to
the
do
key.
anything against
That's
these
the
people.
key.
So what I'm saying is, for him, he didn't have the book smarts. He didn't have the academic part of it because that's not really. It's instinctive, but at the same time, you really got to be taught this. You have to be sat down, and because I don't care how long you've been playing ball, there's things that it happens. You learn through trial and error.
Experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So by him not having any of the above, he was dead in the water.
Yeah, because
he couldn't adjust.
In his mind, he's still trying to get it off instead of him saying, "Oh, if I'm getting double team and triple team, somebody else is open.
Wide open.
So let me pass the ball.
Let me pass it.
Let them keep double teaming me or triple teaming me because they don't know what I know either. We're all kids. Let me just pass it to the open man."
But he wasn't there.
Yeah.
He
So-
couldn't turn the corner.
Yes. So back to your question when you said in terms of how do you utilize someone with the book smarts and the scholastics, it's just that. You use them for certain things. Like if you know your wife or your girlfriend or your business partner is brilliant in what they do in terms of numbers and reading or whatever, but you know that they don't have any common sense, you don't put them in a situation where they have to use common sense.
Yeah.
You use them for
Yeah.
whatever they're good at, and that's it. You know they're not going to excel trying to have common sense and do other things. You can't even send them out to go get you a Coca-Cola because they're gonna come back with something else. Matter of fact, you send them out, "Hey babe, go get me a Coke." They come back with a 7-Up, and you say, "What is this? I asked for a Coke." Well, they didn't have Coke. Well, why didn't you call me and ask me what I needed? They don't have the common sense, dude. That's too much of a task for them.
Right.
They wasn't built that way.
So a person like getting back to what I initially preferred over, not really preferring it over talent,
Right.
but to me, there's almost a very small error for margin for error when you're dealing with talent versus intelligence, because intelligent players make crucial, great decisions, even though they can't jump as high, they don't run as fast, but it's been proven that if you make good decisions consistently, you put yourself in a position to succeed. I'm not saying you win every time, because I've seen a lot of Duke University teams lose. And they have very, very intelligent athletic players. These guys are excelling in the classroom as well as just having talent. So I think, like you said, you have to put a person in a position, and then your level of expectation has to be in place, because, like you said, you can't expect this person to figure it out. They don't have.
That's not what they have. They don't. You have to let them do what they're good at.
Yeah.
You can't expect for them to go and do something that's outside the box, because that's not what they're used to. They're used to doing what they're used to doing. Like I said, they may not even be able to boil an egg, but you have them solve this math equation, they can do it in 2 seconds. Or you have them do your taxes, they can do that, and and they can tell you about everything when it comes down to numbers and science or whatever. But when it comes down to a simple task, they not built that way.
Yeah. The other thing that when I look at the topic, and you see someone with great common sense and someone else with just enormous intelligence, still and yet you have dynamics that must be pretty much observed, because if they're out of whack, you're gonna lose. And that's just as simple as that, because sometimes you just ain't gonna have no script, dude.
Yeah. You don't have the ability to think on your feet.
You gotta figure it out. And I think that's what management looks for. When people are in management,
they look for leaders.
They look for the ones that you don't have to micromanage.
They look for the ones that can figure it out without them having to come say, hey, well, look, you should have did this.
Right.
You have to have your common sense and say, you know what? Wait a minute, this didn't work, so let me figure it out on my own. Let me do this. And if you don't have any common sense, man, you're not going to be able to figure it out. It's not going to always, like I said, it's not going to always be scholastics. It's not going to always be academics. It's not going to always be, what you learned in college and what you read in some book. It's not going to be that way. Life doesn't work that way. Life is more of common sense in the real world than it is scholastics. Now, like you said, and you made a valid point, and you're right. It's not about we're knocking education. It's not about we're knocking don't go to college and get a degree, because having a degree is going to get you through the door. Yeah. But once you get through the door, now you're going to have to figure it out on your own. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with an actor. I can have somebody hook me up and say, look, man, I'm going to get you in this movie. I'm going to get you. Matter of fact, I'm not going to get you in the movie, but I'm going to get you in the door to audition. Okay, he got me or she got me through the door. Now I got to know how to act.
It's on me.
So a lot of times we knock these celebrities who bring their kids in and give them jobs or whatever. Hey, some of these kids can act. Like Denzel's son. And there's a lot of them. He may have gotten
Ice
the door.
Cube's son.
Yeah, exactly. They may
that.
have gotten a shortcut, but now they got to come in and do the work. Yeah. Just because I get you in doesn't mean you got it sketched in gold. Right. There's been some artists, singers that bring their kids in, and the singers, they horrible. Yeah. Be like, nah, you ain't your dad.
No, it's true.
No, Frank Sinatra Jr., nah. It's true. And there's a lot of them that try to, because their father or their mom, dude, I remember, this is embarrassing. I remember one night, I was at the comedy store. I think it was at the comedy store, one of his comedy shows, and I think Paul Mooney's sons, the twins, got up on stage.
They bombed.
Have you seen them do anything else lately?
I didn't even know he had
Okay,
sons.
Exactly. Case closed.
I really did.
Because your dad is a brilliant writer, and he wrote a lot of stuff for Richard Pryor. People don't know this, but the movie Bustin' Loose, he wrote that.
Yeah, he wrote
for Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
He wrote a lot of stuff for Richard Pryor. And just because your dad is a talented comedian, it doesn't mean it's always genetics. Sometimes it is, but then sometimes it's not. Yeah. Just like certain athletes, kids make great athletes. Certain athletes are just, some don't. And I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Like Michael Jordan's two boys, they were great athletes, but they weren't his father, and he even knew that.
Of course,
they were great athletes. I mean, they were better. Yeah, they were. I mean, I watched them grow up. Because they played against some of my teams when they were at the camp, and they good kids, intelligent kids, but they didn't have what Mike had. So that's why they didn't make it to that next level. And I think Michael knew it. He knew that his kids.
Well, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Certain kids inherit it, and certain kids don't.
It's a lot of former athletes whose kids didn't become athletes.
Right.
They went professional in other things.
Yeah.
And you got to deal with that. I mean,
professional engineers. That's what it is.
Yeah. But I think we see the balance there, and we know that it's a preference as to what it is you want, what works for you. I am grateful to have both. If I didn't have common sense, I think I'd have major problems. I just do. Because
me too.
How we looking at our journey,
the way we navigate, and the way we have navigated our way through life. Without common sense, we wouldn't even be here talking.
We wouldn't even made it.
I'm telling you.
We wouldn't have
sometimes you got to think on your feet. Like, oh, man, wait a minute.
You got to be able to adjust.
Yeah. And some people can't adjust, dude.
Yeah.
Some people, and that doesn't make them less than.
Yeah.
They're just better in other things. Yeah. Have you ever dated a girl who just didn't have it?
Yeah.
She may have had other things, but you'd be like, man, this chick just,
she don't get it.
She just don't get it.
Yeah, she's smart, great job, great career, come from a great family.
But just don't get it.
But for some reason, common things go over her head, And you
can't even tell them a joke. They'd be like, honey, that was a joke?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because I think we're wired differently too, but also when your regimen has been a certain way the majority of your life, you conform to that because we all have attributes.
Yeah.
Some people, they like quiet, conservative settings. Other people, they like it rambunctious, just live and loud.
They want to be turned.
They thrive. Yeah. They want to turn up. They thrive in those elements.
Right.
I
don't thrive in those elements. I'll be the first to tell you. I'm one of those conservative, low key. I'm at home. I'm Netflix. I'm whatever. I'm not really with all the,
the hoopla.
I'm not with it. Never have been.
And so, I think that it has a lot to do with our upbringing, our culture that we were developed in, and then it has everything to do with you as a person. Your personality, it just might be different. Some people, like, for instance, my oldest son, very bright. All my kids are bright, but you can tell that they were really focused,
right,
academically,
right.
And with that being said, that was where the emphasis, the energy really was. The other stuff was kind of secondary.
Right.
It just wasn't as important. But I saw their balance was really in the gaming stuff.
Okay.
And maybe that's just the tech world that we live in. But that was more like their outlet. Not going outside playing baseball. Not going outside hopping gates and playing, tag or, whatever, the things that we did.
Yeah.
The kids today, they got great technology.
Yeah, we're in a different era.
Yeah. So that hurt a lot of the kids' social skills and communication skills.
Oh, no, yeah.
They could literally be with their friend for hours upon hours and never even say nothing.
Oh, I know.
Oh, good move.
Yeah. That's a good move. No, I know.
And then it's like,
I know.
For real? You playing? I said, who are you playing? Oh, that's some guy online.
Yeah.
I'm like, for real?
Yeah.
But I think as parents, that was our fault for not saying go outside.
Well, but you have to understand though, no, not really, because we're in a different era. Yeah. We didn't have what they have now.
Technology.
We didn't even have. We still had a rotary phone when we were kids. It wasn't. When we got a push button phone, we was excited.
Cable was only 2 channels.
On and select.
The dirty channel and the regular channel.
Yeah, on and select. Cut on the TV and select the channel. With 2 channels.
2 channels.
Yeah, and so we came from a different era back then versus what the kids are going through now. Like you said, some of these kids have no social skills.
Yeah.
Especially the ones who the parents give them everything.
Yeah.
And we'd probably be both, and even people that's viewing, we're probably all guilty of that. Of giving our kids, everything because we didn't have it, and we feel like, we got it, so let's go ahead and break the kids off.
Yeah.
So we all are guilty of that.
Yeah.
But it was just a different era, than it was when we were, coming up through the late 70s and early 80s or whatever, when we were like that teenage adolescent. It just was a different era, man, versus what it is now. My daughter can stay at home all day, and I think I asked her a couple of weeks ago, I said, are you sad? Because I was just
you just wanted to know if she was depressed.
Right.
I'm like, just checking. You just checking.
She's like, no.
That's an honest question.
Yeah, she's like, no.
I asked Michael that before.
Yeah, I think, are you sad? She's like, no.
I was like, you depressed?
Yeah, but she finds her way.
He was like, no,
yeah,
Dad.
she finds her way to occupy her time doing a lot of stuff. She's on her Mac. She's on her phone. She's back and forth on the TV. She's talking to her friends. She's finding her way to do something, all day long. But for us, we can't stay in the house cooped up when we were coming through in that era. We got to be outside doing something. Rolling in the grass.
You be dressed at a certain time.
Yeah. We rolling in the grass. We coming back in. Mom telling us, y'all go take a bath. Y'all smell like puppies.
Exactly.
So we out doing something when we were that age. And I think our generation, we have that common sense, and we have kind of both, because we had to grow up fast and we had to learn.
Yeah.
So the people that I know that's within my age range, they have it both. They have the common sense and they have the scholastics. Some do, some don't, because we also know people who we also grew up with who have the education, but they don't really have the common sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't have it.
So no, that's true. That's just fact.
Yeah.
my last question to you, and then you can, round it out any way you want to. Now that we see that there's a big difference. There's a big difference.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not saying one favors the other.
No doubt.
I mean, at least from my.
No, I'm not saying it either.
Yeah, but there are huge differences.
Huge difference.
They're huge difference, and so when we understand these two dynamics, what would you suggest to the viewing audience as it relates to both of these? Having common sense and having book smarts, or preferring one over the other. What do you say to that?
I say that
because some people don't even. I don't mean to cut you off.
No.
Some people don't even realize
that they ain't got it.
Yeah. Yes. But go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
That's funny. No, I that's funny you say that. But no, I would say that if you know that you favor one or the other, let's just say you know that you're the one that's degreed up, master's degree, PhD, MBA, whatever the case may be. But let's say you also acknowledge that you're the one that, I don't really have that kind of common sense or that kind of, that kind of street smarts or whatever. I would say to that person who don't have either, try to learn. Try to ask questions. Try to put yourself out there to where if you get into a situation, you don't have a problem with saying, you know what? Let me call a friend. Like the game show, let me dial a friend. Yeah. They should dial a friend. Let me try to figure it out. And the ones who just have total street smarts or total common sense, and they're not really educated in terms of their degrees and their scholastics, whatever, I would say to them, pick up a book. Do some research. Go online. Read. Go for some of those famous people that you may be a fan of. Go back and read their biographies, or go back and read, some what some people have written about them. Try to educate yourself.
Right, because Bill Gates, he dropped out of college.
Hey, there's a lot of them who dropped out of college.
I think even the guy that passed away from Apple. He may have finished.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah,
Steve Jobs.
I'm not sure, but I know that he had some challenges.
Yeah.
While he was in college.
Right.
I know he was in college because I saw his story. But some of those guys start figuring it out way before graduation.
Exactly.
And some didn't return.
Exactly.
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
It's a fact. I mean, he doesn't like glorify it like, hey, you guys drop out.
Right.
But it's a known fact. He was like, I landed a good job.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
The rest is history.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there that's that's highly successful in what they do, and it didn't come with necessarily them having to finish college or whatever. So don't get it wrong, guys. We're not, and I'm not against college or saying you don't have to go. No, I'm not saying that at all.
Right.
But there are other alternatives.
Right.
There's because I was trying to encourage my daughter. I'm like, well, look, you can learn a trade. There's things, if you got a trade, you'll never be broke. If you got a trade, you'll never be broke. I don't care how little the trade is or how much money you make. You got a trade as a barber.
Yeah.
You'll never be broke because there's something you can do. If you got to go cut 20 heads for, $200, you can do that.
Yeah.
That's a trade. I'm not a barber. I can't go cut hair. I'm not an artist. I'm not, I got others. So my thing is, it's not about, if you don't have either or, go educate yourself.
Gotcha.
That's all. And if you don't have the common sense, be open enough to ask and say, hey man, you know what? I'm trying to figure this thing out, or what you think I should do. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because there's so many of us as adults who they're afraid to come and ask the question because they feel like, well, I'm a grown man, I'm a grown woman, I ain't gotta ask that, and they don't know diddly.
Well said. Like I said before, it's very interesting to have this discussion because so many people take it for granted, and we wonder why people have so much success outside of that classroom.
Yes, sir.
Outside of having the opportunity to go to formal college, go to college and get a formal education. Many people have reasons why they didn't go. And then some people just flat out said, hey, I'm not interested in it.
Or
There's nothing wrong with
or
that.
they can say, it's just not for me.
It's just not for me because it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
We understand that. It's proven that it's not for everybody.
Right.
But learning and educating yourself is, because you can do that at your own pace.
Yeah.
Like you said, research.
Yeah.
So on and so on. So
read, do some research.
Yeah.
Ask the pertinent questions.
Yeah.
Surround yourself around people with knowledge. Don't surround yourself around dummies. Don't surround yourself around people that's negative. No, really.
You said dumb.
No, I'm serious. I mean, surround yourself around somebody who's going to give you, who you're going to learn from. That's why I've always hung out with like older people. And older men who have life experience, because I listen to their stories.
Wisdom.
And man, it's nothing but wisdom, dude. You're going to hang around some kid that's 22 and you 50. What you going to learn?
Right. He's trying to figure it out, if he's even trying to figure it out.
What
Sometimes they're not even trying to figure it out.
What you going to learn? The difference between Pete Chirac and the other one, that's what you going to learn.
Right.
You ain't going to learn anything that's going to help you through life. And I'm not saying there's not any super, old soul 22-year-olds, because there probably is. But I'm saying the average, That's it.
Man, well said. Again, another great topic to discuss and chop up. To you, our viewing audience, hopefully you weren't offended by our opinion and the discussion at hand, because it's something to really look at. It's something to really consider, and it's something to get better with. Whereas it's common sense or becoming more educated than you are now.
Right.
And then there's other ways to do that. You don't necessarily have to have a degree or a higher degree as a goal, but you're just trying to improve.
Right.
It's like self-help,
Exactly.
so to speak, and you go at your own pace. So thanks again to the Coalesce Group, to Fruit Off the Vine Clothing Apparel, for allowing us to partner with you. Thank you, viewing audience, and those that have consistently followed us on social media. We want you to like, subscribe, and share this platform with others, your friends. Let them know that we'll be coming to you each Tuesday and Friday. We're going to zero in on the times so that we can get a little more consistent with you knowing when we're going to air it.
Exactly.
I know that us being on the West Coast, early mornings is good, because I know by noontime or whatever, people can grab the material and listen to it, at their own pace. So we are going to eventually announce the times that we will release our programs so that you can go to the platform and view them for yourselves. Thanks again. I'm going to throw it to Charley Mac and let him close us out.
Thank you guys for listening and giving us your guys' time. We don't proclaim to be experts in our topics, but we do proclaim to be experts in what we have gone through in life.
There you go.
So all we're doing is giving you a little bit of a nickel worth of free advice, things that we've gone through in life.
There you go.
Once again, thank you guys for listening. Shout out to our guests who we had in here last week, the Motown Brothers. Thank you guys for coming in. Some of you guys that's viewing, you never know, it could be you coming in here next. We're going to start bringing in special guests. We're going to try to keep it Inglewood, because that's what we do. We keep it straight Inglewood. We keep it 100. So you guys viewing, that's your Inglewood viewers. Be on the lookout. It might be you. So take those seatbelts off while we stop the car. We out of here. Peace and love.
Peace.